Watch this for 30 minutes and you'll be dangerously smart. It's that simple, Machiavelli. Listen carefully. These next 30 minutes will not make you smarter in the academic sense. They will not make you sound more educated. They will not turn you into the kind of person who wins every argument. They will not make you a genius on paper. They will do something far more dangerous. They will teach you how to see what is happening behind words, how to see the intention hiding behind kindness, how to understand why some people always seem to say the right thing at the right time, in the right tone, yet every time they enter your life, you become a little smaller, a little less certain, a little less valuable, a little less in control. That is the kind of intelligence that makes other people realize you are becoming difficult to manipulate. The kind of intelligence that makes polished explanations stop working on you. The kind of intelligence that makes you hear a promise and ask not, does this sound sincere? But, what has this person's pattern been for the last 3 months, 6 months, 1 year? The kind of intelligence that keeps you from being led around simply because someone knows how to wrap their self-interest in softness. And what is the price of it? The price is that you cannot go back to being innocent. You will start seeing a meeting differently, a relationship differently, a compliment differently, a friend differently, a lover differently, a family member differently. You will begin to understand that many things that hurt you in the past did not happen because life was randomly cruel. They happened because you entered life carrying the wrong map. Most people move through life half asleep. They hear words and assume those words are truth. They see friendliness and mistake it for goodwill. They work hard and think hard. Work will somehow speak for itself. They stay kind and think kindness will automatically be returned. They reveal their weaknesses and call it depth. Then, one day, those same weaknesses are used against them at exactly the right moment, and they stand there in shock. Not because they are stupid, but because they were taught to look at life in a way that makes them easier to control. And in these 30 minutes, I am going to give you 7 shifts in perception. 7 ideas that, if they truly enter your mind, will permanently change the way you look at people, power, relationships, fairness, rules, friendship, vulnerability, and yourself. Machiavelli saw these things a very long time ago, not to make people more evil, but to make them less naive, in a world where naivety is often disguised as something noble: kindness, forgiveness, openness, decency, trust. And if you do not want to see the world this way, you should stop now, because once you see it, you cannot unsee it. But if you are tired of being lied to, overlooked, used, and outmaneuvered by people who are not better than you, only more aware than you, then keep going. The first shift is the foundation of everything, and it destroys the illusion most people cling to in order to feel safe. Number 1. People don't mean what they say. People often do not truly mean what they say. That does not mean everyone is a liar in the obvious sense. It does not mean every word that comes out of someone's mouth is part of a grand scheme. The mistake is somewhere else. The mistake is believing that words exist primarily to communicate truth. They do not. Very often, words are used to manage your perception of the speaker in that moment. A person says, "I'm always here for you." But the moment you truly need them, they disappear behind a polite excuse, just believable enough that you cannot call it out without sounding dramatic. A coworker says, "That's a great idea." 20 minutes later, in the meeting, that same idea comes out of their mouth in a deeper voice, with better structure, with more confidence, and suddenly the room believes it belongs to them. A friend says, "I'm genuinely happy for you." But the day you start moving upward, something in their face changes. Not enough for you to prove it, just enough for you to feel it. Sometimes, half a second of coldness is enough to reveal the truth. Someone says, "I'll change," The truth is, they only need a sentence soft enough to keep you there for one more cycle. Words are the cheapest weapon in the human arsenal. They cost almost nothing. No sacrifice, no discipline, no proof, no payment. Just the right tone, at the right time, aimed at the right need in the listener. Machiavelli understood this deeply. Men are so simple and so subject to present necessities that he who seeks to deceive will always find someone who will allow himself to be deceived. Where does that truth hurt? It hurts because people are not only deceived by the skill of the manipulator, they are deceived by their own desire to believe. They need to believe. They feel safer when they believe. They prefer words that match their hopes over actions that reveal reality. Have you ever waited for a message from someone who said they cared about you? Have you ever worked yourself to exhaustion for a boss who kept telling you, "I see your potential," only to watch your name disappear when it was finally time to reward someone? Have you ever listened to an apology that sounded perfect, thoughtful, complete, and convincing, only to watch the same pattern return a few weeks later? That is when you begin to understand something cold. Behavior has a history, words do not. Someone says they respect you. Do they respect your boundaries? Someone says they are loyal. Are they still consistent when there is nothing in it for them? Someone says they love you. Then what happens when you become less useful, less easy to control, or less willing to serve their needs? The more mature you become, the less you ask, "What did they say to me?" And the more you ask, when they have to choose, "What do they consistently do?" And once you truly start living by that principle, half the manipulation in your life loses its power automatically. Because most manipulation does not come through force, it comes through explanation, through justification, through apology, through promises, through language designed to buy time, buy access, buy forgiveness, buy one more chance to stay close to you. Manipulators hate the kind of person who does not argue with their words and simply steps back to observe the pattern, because at that moment, language loses its magic. That is the first shift. Do not listen to words so you can feel better. Watch patterns so you can see clearly. But noticing the gap between words and behavior still is not enough, because there is another question that hurts even more. Why do people do this? Why do they promise and fail? Why do they say they love you and then choose something else? Why do they act warm while quietly placing themselves above you the moment advantage appears? The answer is the second shift. Number 2, everyone operates from self-interest. Everyone operates from self-interest. That sounds offensive, because it touches the part of human beings they most want to keep clean, their moral self-image. Everyone wants to believe they are better than instinct. Everyone wants to believe their kindness is pure. Everyone wants to imagine that, at least in the decisions that matter, they are not like everyone else. Slow down. Saying that people operate from self-interest does not mean everyone is evil. It means that underneath most decisions, there is some kind of calculation, however subtle. What does this do for me, now or later? Someone helps you because they truly care, but feeling like a good person is still a reward. Someone sacrifices for their family, but preserving the identity of being responsible is still something they gain. Someone stays loyal to you because of love and history, but the stability, familiarity, emotional safety, or sense of being morally good that comes from staying is still serving them in some way. Human beings rarely do anything that has absolutely no benefit to themselves. The benefit is simply not always money. Sometimes it is self-image. Sometimes it is reputation. Sometimes it is peace of mind. Sometimes it is emotional leverage. Sometimes it is the pleasure of having someone owe them. Sometimes it is the relief of avoiding guilt. Have you ever been devastated because someone chose themselves over you? A partner chose freedom over commitment. A close friend chose a more useful relationship over years of loyalty. A boss chose the politically skilled person over the quieter person with more substance. A family member chose appearances over your pain. You were hurt because you believed they would prioritize you. But if you look more coldly, you will see that they simply returned to their own center, to their own interests, to their own safety, to the image of themselves they needed to preserve, to the option that cost them the least and gave them the most. Machiavelli wrote, "Men never do good unless necessity drives them to it." That does not mean there are no good people in the world. It means that many good behaviors only remain stable when there is something making them worth sustaining. Consequences, reputation, law, pressure, benefit, necessity, or the need to keep seeing oneself as decent. Once you truly understand this, two things happen at the same time. First, you become less naive about other people. Second, you become less dishonest with yourself. You stop being shocked when someone chooses what serves them more than they choose you. You stop interpreting every betrayal as some deeply personal mystery. Very often, it is not because you were not enough. It is simply because, when forced to choose, they chose themselves. Cold? Yes. But colder still is spending the next 5 years crying, "How could they do this to me?" when the answer was always there, because it served them more than serving you. And when you understand that self-interest drives other people, you stop torturing yourself with a weak version of morality. You stop feeling guilty for having boundaries. You stop apologizing for refusing to keep sacrificing yourself to people who would never do the same in return. From that point on, you start building relationships on reality instead of fantasy. You stop asking, "Does this person seem nice?" and start asking, "What is this person's real incentive, and does it still align with mine?" That is when human behavior becomes less confusing. But then you hit an illusion even bigger than this one. The illusion people are fed since childhood, that if you deserve something, life will eventually correct itself and give it to you. It will not. That is the third shift. Number 3, fairness is a lie they tell the obedient. Fairness is the story people tell, so the majority will remain obedient. The world does not reward the most deserving person. It rewards the person with leverage, position, visibility, relationships, timing, and the willingness to keep themselves from becoming invisible. Sometimes, it rewards the person who is ruthless enough not to hand their fate to a system that never promised to be fair in the first place. You have seen this too many times. The hardest worker is not always promoted. The most capable person is not always heard. The most loyal person is not always kept. The kindest person is not always protected. The person who does less but knows where to stand, who to talk to, and how to attach their name to the right outcomes often moves faster than the person sitting in quiet resentment, still waiting for fairness to arrive. It often never arrives. You watch someone join the company after you, with no more skill than you, and 6 months later, they are getting more attention than you ever did. Why? Because they understood something you did not want to face. Competence matters, but competence does not speak for itself. The person who knows how to package competence into something others are forced to notice often moves ahead of the person who simply does good work. You see, one child in a family receives more grace than another, even when they are clearly less responsible. Why? Because in many emotional systems, what gets rewarded is not fairness. What gets rewarded is the role someone unconsciously or deliberately occupies in the emotional architecture of the people around them. You see, in relationships, that the person who loves more is often in the weaker position. Why? Because love is not rewarded like virtue. It is rewarded according to leverage, emotional independence, willingness to walk away, and the ability to maintain self-value. Machiavelli wrote, "How we live is so far removed from how we ought to live that he who abandons what is done for what ought to be done will rather learn to bring about his own ruin than his preservation. That is a direct blow to illusion. If you insist on living by how the world should work instead of how it actually works, you do not preserve your purity. You only learn how to lose. The person who sits there repeating, "It should not be this way," usually loses to the one who simply asks, "But what is actually being rewarded here?" That is the mature question. Not, "Is this fair?" but, "What is this system truly rewarding?" At work, maybe it rewards visibility. In love, maybe it rewards the person who is less dependent. In society, maybe it rewards attention, not depth. In many systems, maybe it rewards people who can make their value legible, not people who quietly possess value. This does not mean abandoning morality. It means abandoning the fantasy that morality automatically pays. That is the difference between innocence and maturity. You can be a good person and still need strategy. You can be honest and still need position. You can be gifted and still need leverage. And if that is not painful enough, the next shift cuts deeper, because not only does fairness fail to appear on its own, even the rules are not applied equally. Number 4. The rules don't apply equally. The rules do not apply to everyone in the same way. There are rules for ordinary people, and there is flexibility for the powerful. Ordinary people have to follow process, tone, timing, hierarchy, protocol. Their mistakes are remembered, their anger is labeled, their hesitation is punished, their slightest misstep becomes a mark against them. But what about people with status? They are late because they are busy. They break protocol because they are flexible. They change their word because the circumstances have shifted. They use connections because they are resourceful. They interrupt because they are decisive. They resist because they have standards. Same behavior, different status, different interpretation. An employee who mentions their own contribution is often called self-promoting. A leader who does the same thing is called strategic. An ordinary person who loses control is labeled unstable. A powerful person who loses control is assumed to have a reason. You can hate that truth. It will remain true anyway. Machiavelli wrote, "A wise prince cannot, nor ought he to, keep his word when such observance may be turned against him, and when the reasons that caused him to pledge it no longer exist." This is not a lesson in criminality. It is a warning that power negotiates with principle in ways the weak cannot afford to. Powerful people obey rules when those rules serve them. They bend rules when the gain outweighs the risk. You need to see this, not so you become corrupt, but so you stop hypnotizing yourself into believing the world is operating on a flat, neutral, evenly applied moral plane. It is not. Systems often see position before they see behavior. Society often sees status before it sees substance. Many people hear who is speaking before they hear what is being said. The sooner you accept that, the sooner you stop chaining yourself to one of the most useless forms of pride. Pride in being the only person still playing clean in a game where everyone else is selecting which rules they will actually obey. Nobody hands you a medal for being more obedient. Many times, they simply overlook you. And then, when you think at least you still know who is truly on your side, the next shift makes you lonelier, but also sharper. Number 5. Your enemies pretend to be friends. The people most capable of hurting you are rarely standing far away. They are usually standing very close. You cannot be betrayed by someone you never trusted. Betrayal only works when someone has been allowed inside, allowed access, allowed closeness, allowed to hear what matters to you, allowed to see where you are soft. That is why the deepest wounds always wear familiar faces. A co-worker who keeps checking in on you is not automatically supporting you. Sometimes they are collecting a map, where you are strong, where you are insecure, who favors you, what you fear, what frustrates you, where you are likely to crack. A friend who always asks, "How are things going?" is not necessarily caring. Sometimes information is power, and they enjoy having it. A family member who says, "I only want what is best for you," is not always acting for your sake. Sometimes they are protecting their own identity as the righteous authority, while your real pain is just noise disrupting a structure they need to preserve. Have you ever shared a plan while it was still fragile, then noticed weeks later that the energy around it had shifted? Have you ever told someone about a fear or uncertainty, only to feel them strike that exact place during conflict? Have you ever sensed that someone was happy for you only as long as you had not risen above them? That is when you understand that friendliness is not evidence of loyalty. Machiavelli wrote, "Men are so simple that the deceiver will always find someone ready to be deceived." The most effective deceivers are not the ones who seem dangerous. They are the ones who seem safe. They lower your guard. They make you open the door yourself. They get you to hand over what they could never steal by force if they remained outside. A mature person does not ask, "Is this person good to me?" They ask, "How does this person behave when my interests begin to compete with theirs?" That is the real test. Many people are perfectly willing to stand beside you as long as your existence does not threaten their position. As long as you stay within the range they can tolerate. As long as your growth does not force them to confront their own inadequacy. Real loyalty often reveals itself most clearly, not when you are struggling, but when you are rising. Who is genuinely happy when you move up? Who turns cold? Who starts making jokes that quietly minimize your success? Who suddenly speaks less? Who begins referring to an older version of you the moment you start changing? That is when the real face appears. Understanding this does not mean becoming paranoid. It means do not hand your inner life to anyone simply because they speak gently. Do not confuse familiarity with safety. Do not confuse access with trustworthiness. The closer they are, the greater the damage they can do. And that is why the next shift is so sharp. Number 6. Weakness invites attack. A weakness exposed in the wrong place becomes a handle people can use to break you. The world loves telling you that vulnerability is always strength. That total openness leads to healing. That, if you reveal everything, you will be understood, connected, held. That is only true in very rare spaces. Spaces with maturity, ethics, emotional discipline, and genuine care. Outside those spaces, in many real environments, vulnerability shown to the wrong people does not make you loved. It makes you legible. It makes you easy to read, easy to classify, easy to file away for later use. You tell someone your greatest fear is abandonment. From that day forward, whenever they want you more compliant, they only need to withdraw warmth. You reveal at work that you are under financial pressure. From that day forward, people know you have fewer options and may tolerate more mistreatment. You confess that being disrespected cuts you deepest. During the next argument, that exact place is where the knife goes. You admit how insecure you are. The person competing with you does not need to defeat you. They only need to create enough pressure for you to defeat yourself. You think you are being honest. In the eyes of someone without ethics, you are handing them the blueprint to your own collapse. Not everyone is cruel, but not everyone has to be for this to become dangerous. A few sufficiently strategic people are enough to make you pay for naivety. Machiavelli wrote, "It is better to be feared than loved, if you cannot be both." This line is misunderstood constantly. It is not a command to threaten people. The deeper point is that in an unclean world, people often respect consequences more than softness. If others know there is a cost for crossing your boundaries, they become more careful. If they know you will keep absorbing, keep explaining, keep forgiving, keep fearing loss more than they do, you become useful. And useful people are rarely respected. From this shift onward, you start developing discipline around your inner life. You do not bring every crisis into public view. You do not tell every insecurity to people who have not proven themselves safe. You do not turn your pain into material others are free to handle however they want. You do not have to become cold. You just have to become less naive. Not everyone deserves access to the softest part of you. Not everyone has the depth to understand what you reveal. Not everyone has the character not to use it when the time comes. A strong person is not someone without weaknesses. A strong person is someone who knows which weaknesses must be worked through in private and who has earned the right to witness them. But even if you understand that words cannot be trusted, self-interest is real, fairness is an illusion, rules are unevenly applied, enemies often stand close, and exposed weakness can be weaponized, you can still lose. Because understanding the game while refusing to play it is still losing, just with more awareness. That brings us to the final shift. Number 7. You're in a game whether you play or not. You are in a game whether you like it or not. A lot of people take pride in saying, "I don't play games." They call themselves honest, straightforward, above strategy, above politics, above competition. They think that keeps them pure. It does not. Many times, it only keeps them easy to use. At work, the people who move up are not always the best workers. Often they are the ones who know who needs to see their work. They know where to connect, when to speak, when to stay quiet, when to attach their name to the outcome, when to step back. In relationships, the person with the stronger position is not always the one who loves more. It is often the one who knows their value better, fears loss less, and refuses to collapse themselves just to keep the other person close. In society, the most influential person is not always the deepest one. It is often the one who knows how to package value into something that demands attention. That is the game. You can hate it. You can feel exhausted by it. You can tell yourself you do not want to be like them, but refusing to name the game does not make it disappear. It only ensures that you enter it with your eyes closed. Machiavelli wrote, "One must be a fox to recognize traps and a lion to frighten wolves. That is the twofold intelligence adulthood requires. A fox to see traps, a lion to make others understand that you are not easy prey. If you only see the traps but refuse to adapt, you remain a victim. If you are only aggressive without seeing the traps, you become noisy, not powerful. To stop being used, you must see the board clearly and have enough discipline to place your own moves. This does not mean becoming dirty, it means becoming intentional. You do not wait for your work to speak for itself. You learn how to place it where it will be seen. You do not wait for others to assign you the right value. You learn how to make your value legible without begging. You do not wait for relationships to become fair on their own. You learn how to create your position within them. You do not wait for opportunities to descend as a reward for suffering. You learn how to build leverage. Many people do not lose because life cursed them. They lose because of one cheap form of pride. I don't play games. Wrong. You are simply playing badly and calling your weakness virtue. That is the final shift. It separates the person who sees the game from the person who begins to control their position within it. Now put all 7 together. People are not trustworthy because their words sound good. Watch patterns. Human beings mostly act from self-interest. Watch incentives. The world does not reward deservingness by itself. Watch leverage. The rules are not applied equally. Watch status. The people who hurt you most are often the ones closest to you. Watch who gets access. Weakness shown in the wrong place will be used. Watch where you expose yourself. And you are in a game whether you admit it or not. Watch how you move on the board. If these 30 minutes changed anything, they did not change the world around you first. They changed your eyes. From this point on, you will hear promises differently. You will hear compliments differently. You will read apologies differently. You will interpret affection differently. You will walk into rooms differently. You will look at relationships differently. And most painfully, you will look back at many events in your own life and realize something simple. It was not always bad luck. For a very long time, you simply refused to look directly at how this game actually works. That is why seeing clearly feels lonely. Because when you start seeing, you realize most people do not want to see. They prefer beautiful words to patterns. They prefer the feeling of being loved to the truth that, many times, they are simply being used gently. They prefer comfort to observation. They prefer illusion to clarity. And if you try to wake them up, they will call you negative, cold, cynical, broken. No, you did not lose faith in people. You lost illusion. Those are two completely different things. Mature trust is not built on words. It is built on evidence. Mature kindness is not blind. It has boundaries. Mature strength is not theatrical. It is quiet, precise, and consequential. That is the kind of intelligence that makes other people cautious around you. Not intelligence to show off. Intelligence that keeps you from being led. Intelligence that keeps you from handing your heart to a game rigged from the beginning. Intelligence that stops you from turning your sincerity into a gift for people who only measure what they can take from it. Intelligence that teaches you when to open the door, when to close it, when to trust, when to observe, when to stay, and when to leave. Now do the hardest thing. Do not think about society in general. Think about your own life. Who in your life keeps saying exactly what you want to hear, but their behavior never actually makes you feel safe? Who is close to you because of loyalty, and who is close to you because of position? Where are you still demanding fairness from a system that only rewards leverage? What rule are you still forcing yourself to obey while everyone else uses flexibility to move ahead? Who smiles at you, but each time you rise, their energy changes? What weakness of yours is currently sitting in the wrong place, in front of the wrong person? And what game are you still pretending you are not part of, even though you are paying for that denial every single day? Answer honestly, because the answers will not just tell you who other people are. They will tell you why you are still exactly where you are. Some people spend an entire decade before realizing the problem was never that they were too good. The problem was that they were good without boundaries, honest without observation, hard-working without strategy, trusting without pattern recognition, moral without any ability to read power. And life does not forgive that kind of innocence. If these 7 shifts really hit you, do not just nod and move on. Look at one person, one place, one game in your life that you suddenly see more clearly now. And write in the comments, "I see it now." Not to perform, but to mark the moment you stop being a speaking chess piece and start becoming someone who can actually see the board. Because the world does not lack kind people. It is full of them. Many of them are being crushed. What is rarer is someone who is both clear-eyed and disciplined, someone who sees power without worshipping it, someone who understands the game without selling their soul to it, someone cold enough not to be led, and deep enough to know what they are protecting. That is what dangerously smart really means. And if you made it this far, you are not hearing these things as the same person who started. You have seen it now. The question is no longer whether the world really works this way. The question is this: now that you see it, will you keep living the same way? Or will you finally begin moving like someone who knows exactly where they stand?